Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am going to be testing a bunch of new makeup for you guys, which I like to do on a pretty regular basis. But not only am I just testing makeup, in today's video, I've also partnered up with SportFX. They have challenged me to try and do as much of my face as I can with a sponge. And I'm sure you guys are very familiar with this little guy right here if you've watched my channel for the past couple of months. I discovered this sponge a few months ago. It's a really great like makeup blending sponge in general. On an everyday basis, I use this to blend out my foundation and concealer. But like I mentioned, SportFX thought they would give me the blend and go challenge because this is their blend and go sponge to try and do as much of my face as I can using this little guy right here. It's super affordable as well, which is what I love about it. It's literally $4.99, and this is what the sponge looks like when it's damp. It's got 8 different sides, I believe. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, 8 different sides. It's kind of got angled sides all the way around, and then obviously it's got the main round bit for your entire face, and then it's also got this little hexagon kind of pointed bit at the top. So 8 different sides, 1 sponge, 1 face. Let's go. I'm just gonna put my hair back with these ears because, knowing me, I'll probably get foundation in my hair. So on an everyday basis, I would normally use this for just foundation and concealer, but you can use it for primer, you can use it for powders, you can use it for cream, bronzer, and highlight, and all of that kind of thing, and eyeshadow even. So that's what I'm gonna be trying to do in this video, so wish me luck. So for my primer, I'm using the NYX Total Control Drop Primer. This is kind of like the primer version of the foundations that they came out with, and I have never used this. I've had it sitting in a drawer for probably about 6 months, and I've never got around to using it. You just squeeze this thing and then it comes up through the droppy applicator. Yes, I'm just gonna drop some of this onto my face. And then I'm using the rounded face side of the sponge to just blend this in. Okay, so it has a sort of satiny finish. It feels a little bit tacky on my face. Then for foundation, I'm using the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Performance Wear Foundation in the shade 03 Champagne. I did kind of, well, I didn't really test this, but I put it on my face in a video where I tested a bunch of high-end makeup, but at the time I didn't have the right shade. But now I have a shade which matches me a lot better. Well, I think, I don't know, maybe it'll be a bit too yellow, but I think it's gonna work. Ooh, it's quite a liquidy texture. Like, can you guys see that? It drips quite fast. And then again, I'm using the round, kind of biggest side of the sponge, of the foundation, of the sponge. I would say it's kind of got medium coverage. You can still see my blemishes poking through. It's blending really nicely. I actually quite like this. I mean, right now, so far, so good. I mean, I like it. It looks nice. And then using the Colourpop No Filter Concealer. And I mentioned this in a haul video ages ago, but I'm pretty sure I've never actually used this on camera, like in a video. I have the shade Fair 5, which I think is the lightest shade. And I actually really like this concealer. I like the applicator. It spreads pretty easily. So you get a lot in one dip. So then for my concealer, I'm just going to use one of the flat edges of this sponge and also kind of the pointed bit as well, just so I can get really up close under my eyes. I don't actually have a new powder to test, so I'm just going to quickly skim over this and pretend that it was something new. I'm just going to quickly set my under eyes using my Maybelline loose powder. I'm going to use another one of the angled kind of flat sides of the sponge. Let me just flip it around actually. And I'm just dipping my sponge into here and picking some up. And then I'm going to use this to kind of, not really bake, but just set underneath my eyes and really press the powder in. Like this. I don't normally use a sponge to do my powder, but that actually looks really nice. Then for my contour, I'm testing the Hoola Quickie Contour Stick by Benefit. I have wanted to test this since I filmed with Talia because she loves this so much. And when I used it on her, I really liked it, but I'd never used it on myself. So I'm gonna use this today. And then I'm taking another one of the angled sides of the sponge. I'm just gonna blend that in. Then I'm also going to do a little bit around my hairline. Okay, Okay, so when you blend it out fully, it's pretty natural looking, but I mean, if you're like super experienced with cream contour and stuff, you could definitely go in with more and make it more bold, but I think I'm gonna leave it there for that. Then for my blush, I'm just taking a little bit of the CYO Cream Shadow and Blush in Only Words, and I'm just gonna take the sponge and actually dip it in here, I think, and get a little bit of product on there and then just kind of stamp it onto my cheeks. For some reason, I'd kind of never really thought about applying for some reason, I'd never really thought of applying cream blush with a sponge, but it actually works really nicely because it's just the perfect little shape for your cheeks. Then I'm just going to quickly set my powder bronzer into place. And for this, I'm using the SportFX Powder and Bronzer Compact Duo. And this says that it has SPF 15 in it, which is pretty cool for a powder. And it comes with, it does have a mirror. Wait, there's one of these things. I want to peel it off. So it has a very decent sized mirror in here. There's also a face powder, and then it slides open like this. And then you have your bronzer underneath. It literally smells of coconut. Then I'm just going back in with a bit of my loose powder and the pointed end of the sponge again. And just while I'm doing my highlighter, I'm gonna bake underneath my bronzer just to really kind of cut that line. And because the sponge actually has the angles on it, you can really get that crisp line, you know? And for highlighter, I literally have one of the weirdest makeup products that I think I've ever come across. This is the Farsali Jelly Beam Illuminator. I'm just gonna throw this out there. This is very expensive. Farsali is a super bougie makeup brand, but this is the Jelly Beam highlighter, and it literally looks like jelly. Are you even ready for this? Okay. Like, can you see that? It literally is like slime. So I thought I would test a bit today, and I'm using another one of the sides of the sponge, just kind of more towards the pointed end. And I have a feeling this is going to be really intense just from swatching it. So I'm taking a tiny little bit just off the lid because there's so much on here. And I'm taking a tiny bit of this on my sponge. And I'm just going to apply this to the tops of my cheekbones. Whoa. So considering that's blending over the top of powder, that actually worked so well. I was not expecting that to work so well. Okay, I'm gonna put a bit on my brow bone. Maybe the weirdest product I've tried, but it actually worked pretty well. I'm just gonna go back in with the big end of my sponge and pick up some powder, and I'm just gonna set my chin and my nose and my forehead a bit because I forgot to do that earlier. Don't worry guys, I haven't forgot about this. I will brush that off in a minute. Okay, so I'm just brushing away the bake. I'm also taking a tiny bit of this highlighter on my sponge, and I'm gonna put it on the very center of my nose. And also my Cupid's bow. The lid of this thing is so hard to get on. It keeps going wonky. I don't actually have anything new to test for my brows, so I'm just gonna really quickly do them off camera just to save some time, and then I'll be right back to do my eyes. Still just cannot get over this highlighter. Okay, so moving on to my eyes, I'm gonna use a couple of cream eyeshadows. And yep, I'm going to be using the sponge. I mean, this is supposed to be a challenge, so let's see what we can do. So I've got 3 different shades of the Cover FX Shimmer Veil liquid eyeshadows. These are kind of like liquid glitter eyeshadows, and I think what I'm going to do is take these 2 colours. One of them slightly darker. This is the shade Moonstone and then Magic. And I'm going to put Moonstone on the outer half of my eye and then Magic on the inner part of my eye. And let's see if we can do it with the sponge, guys. Starting with the darker shade, and I'm just going to paint some of this. And then I'm taking the very tip of the sponge. I'm just going to use that to kind of blend it in. These are so pretty. It's like a liquid glitter kind of. Then the same on the other eye. Just drawing it on and then using the sponge to press it and blend it in. I'm also going to run a bit of this just along my lower lash line as well, I think. I'm just using the very tip to blend that out. Okay, yep, that worked. And then I'm taking the lighter shade and I'm just going to put this more on the inner portion of my eye. And then again, I'm using the sponge to just press and blend that in. These are actually really pretty. They remind me of the Stila glitters, kind of, you know, like the liquid paint on glitters. Okay, right, I actually managed to do some eyeshadow with a sponge. And then actually, this could be a bit of a risk, but I'm taking a tiny bit of the liquid highlighter that I used a second ago, and I'm just gonna put that on the inner kind of part of my eye and my inner corner. Okay, so we have a look. We have an eyeshadow look. For my liner, the only new one that I had to test is the Karl Lagerfeld and Model Co collection. This has got a normal eyeliner on one end, which is just a black liquid liner, and on the other end, it literally has a stamp of his face. Like the outline silhouette of his face comes out when you stamp this. So I'm not going to be using that side, I think. I mean, I could, but I think I'll just stick to the pen eyeliner for now. I mean, it's a very black liner. Gotta give it to Karl. Okay, right now it feels like it's kind of starting to run out. Okay, so it's not my favorite in the whole world. It is very black, but it kind of dries up quite quickly when you're putting it on. I mean, it actually turned out pretty well, but it's just not my favorite eyeliner of all time. Then for my mascara, I'm using the SportFX Sport Stamina Mascara. This says that it lasts 8 hours, and it's got like a bunch of cool ingredients in it, like soft waxes and mango butter combine and create volume and definition. Also, apparently it's got lots of conditioning ingredients and vitamins to nourish your lashes, which sounds pretty cool. This is what the packaging looks like. So it's just a kind of tube thing. That was possibly the worst description ever, but you can see what it looks like. And the brush is kind of curved, and it's got very short natural bristles. Hopefully you can see that. I like how it grips my lashes because the bristles are quite short. Normally I quite like that in a mascara because then you can really get up close to the roots. Whoops. I got some on my nose. Okay, so it's definitely a very voluminous mascara. As you can see, my lashes look pretty damn good. Okay, so the final step of this look is lips, and I'm going to be using the Phase Zero liquid lipstick in the shade Classic Red. I feel like a red lip will just make this look like kind of like a Hollywood glam type look, you know? That colour is actually gorgeous, and it feels so nice on my lips as well. It doesn't feel dry or anything. To finish off the look, I'm using the SportFX Mist and Fix Recovery Face Spray. This says that it's instantly cooling and it also fixes your makeup in place. Apparently you can use this just after you've worked out, and it helps you to like cool down, and it has like anti-inflammatories in it which reduce the redness in your face, which I feel like I definitely need after I've been working out. Whoa! It has such a fine mist. Look at this. Can you see that? Okay, so this is the finished look. I am actually so impressed with how everything turned out. I mean, I don't normally go for a red lip, but I think it's something a little bit different and I actually really like it. So if you guys want to get your hands on this sponge or any other of the SportFX makeup, I will leave the website linked down below so you can head over there and have a look. It's all super affordable stuff, and this sponge in particular I just absolutely love. I think it's so good. It's so squishy. Okay, so that is it from me. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Let me know down below if you guys want me to do like a full face of testing SportFX makeup, then I can do that because I've got a lot of stuff here. If you aren't already subscribed, I would love it so much if you would subscribe. And yeah, that is it. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.